Cindy here, and if you look right down there, there's a dusty dog joining us for our live video today. We're rolling in a little late, but that's what happens when you have fun nights. I just slept in today because we have another vacation Bible school type thing going on this week, and I was just tired. So raise your hand if it's Tuesday and you are tired, because that is me, but here I am. And our topic today is how will you spend your 100th birthday? But first things first, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment, hit that share button, tag me in the post that you shared to a friend about this. And every week, I let my daughter draw a winner for the prize, and we send you a fun prize. And remember, when you have a kid pick out a prize for you, you know it's going to be a fun and good one because we're fun people. All right, how will you spend your 100th birthday? I loved this title, and I was like, yes. I'm an older mom of a young child, just like you. And my daughter does not want me to go before her. And I explained how it usually works. So we have it down to a thing that my goal is to live to 125. I'm going to live to 125. That's just our little funny joke that we have going for us. So if you shoot for 125, maybe I'll make it to 100. So my phones are going off at the same time. Have you ever thought about how you spend your 100th birthday? Because we've been talking about hard questions to ask our mom and dad. But have you asked the question or even thought about what will you do for your 100th birthday? I mean, we have people left and right that are turning 100, and you are my age. Do you remember the Smuckers commercials? With man, his name just went out my door, but you would get your face on a Smucker's thing on the morning show because today was your 100th birthday, and I was like, that's a great way to spend your 100th birthday, having your face plastered on a Smucker's jar on your 100th birthday. So if you remember that guy's name, it's literally, I know it, and he went right out the door. Then go ahead and put that in the comments too. All right, so how will you spend your 100th birthday? And if you haven't thought about that, let's think about it. And it's another good question to ask your mom and dad. How will you spend your 100th birthday? And you'll be able to find out some answers like, I don't want to get to 100. I never thought about it. Nobody in my family got to 100. All those things. So you'll get to see what generational garbage comes up in your answer and what comes up in their answer. And you might be surprised. So in my Moms in the Middle group, we're going to do a hour-long workshop coming up where we're going to go through a part of a timeline of our life so we can map out the highs and the lows. So whether it's early childhood, our teenage years, our college, our young adult years, our first beginning of marriage years, where you are when you had your kid, we're going to go through a part of our life and our timeline and see the highs and the lows. So then you guys can start seeing some patterns, or you can start to recognize, man, I thought my childhood was really bad, but I had a really good childhood. Or, oh, I had a really good childhood, but there was a lot of challenging experiences I went through. Or, oh, look, my mom had this similar thing happen to her in her young adulthood, and this happened to me in mine. So we can start seeing generational patterns, because the good ones we might want to keep. The bad ones, you're going to stop. I'm literally a buck stops here girl. Like, I need the sign on my desk. The buck stops with me. If there is anything that doesn't need to be passed on to my child, it's going to stop right here. For example, poverty mentality. My dad grew up with 12 brothers and sisters. They ate a lot of peanut butter sandwiches. My dad, through my whole lifetime that I knew my dad, did not eat a peanut butter sandwich. He had resolved that he had ate too many peanut butter sandwiches in his life, and he wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to do that anymore. He wasn't going to live in that poverty mentality. And he started breaking it by consciously making a decision that I'm not going to have my kids live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That also probably played a part in them only having 2 kids versus having 13 kids. Just like things with my mom. There's things that can happen in your childhood that you're like, I'm not doing this again with my kids. This is something that I see that our family does, and we're not going to do that. We're going to be generational change makers. You're going to break the chains off of things that we don't need to carry on for generations and generations and generations. My favorite story I heard is about a grandma, a mom, and the granddaughter, and they all make. I think it was a chicken. They all make a chicken. They have this recipe for a chicken. So the grandma shows them. You get the chicken out. You cut the head part off. You cut the butt off. You put it in the pan. You cook it. This is what you put on it. You do that. So then the daughter knows how to do that. She cut off the head. You cut off the butt. Put it in the pan and cook the chicken. Right. Then it gets to the granddaughter. She cuts off the head, cuts off the tail, but she decides to ask, why in this recipe do I have to cut off the head, cut off the tail, put it in the pan, and then start cooking? And the grandma said, I my pan was only big enough, so I had to cut off the head and the butt because it only fit in the pan. So you have three generations that cooked their chicken recipe this way, and it was only because the grandma didn't have a big enough pan for the head and the butt of the chicken to go in there. So you literally carry things down three generations of cutting off parts of the meat that you could feed people because the pan wasn't big enough. And then it also carried on because nobody was brave enough to ask the question, why do we do this? What's the special reason why we do it? And a lot of times you're going to find out there's no special reason. It was just some practical reason you did that. And you can carry it generation down that you're taking half your meat off because the pan wasn't big enough for great grandma, but you got any pan you can buy at your local houseware store. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Join the Moms in the Middle group because the hour-long workshop is coming up very soon and you don't want to miss it. So I love you all and I will see you all tomorrow.